Hello and welcome to the Monroe Method Clancast. I am Jason Monroe. This is episode 98. Today we are talking about my favorite hot topic at the moment. I've done a series of Instagram reels about it, and I am going to blow your mind, quite frankly. So today I want to get you into a way of thinking that is going to help you lose weight for life, right? And it comes back, it always circles back to that underlying message of you do not have a weight problem. You have a series of other things going on that contribute to your weight. Now, I want you to think of this, right? Let's say you have got 30 pounds to lose. I don't know where I get these numbers from, but let's say you want to lose 30 pounds. Now, the thing you have to understand, first of all, is that 30 pounds is there for a reason. You put it there. You don't want it there, but you still put it there through the way that you eat, through the way that you drink, through your habits, through your behaviors, through whatever, right? But that 30 pounds is there because you consumed more calories than you need at some point. And the thing is that 30 pounds could have been there for a long time. It could be your default weight. People think they have weight set points. This nonsense that our body's supposed to be a certain weight. I mean, your body is supposed to be a certain weight, but not for the reasons that people think. People think there's some magical, mystical force that makes their weight go back to where it's supposed to be, and there's not. The only magical, mystical force are your habits and your behaviors and your mindset. So I want you to think of it like this, right? When I work with clients, what we're trying to establish what's the series of things that have led your weight to reaching where it is, okay? And they will have like a rough idea, but it's never the full picture. They often just pick out things. Oh, it's alcohol. Oh, it's takeaways. Oh, it's chocolate. Like, it's never just one thing. You have dozens of small habits, behaviors, thoughts, etc., that all contribute to your weight being where it is. So, like I said, I've done a series of Instagram reels. You can go back and find them. Where I've showed numerous habits and how each of them is adding weight to your body. So let's just work through them, right? Let's say, should I have a calculator for this? Maybe. Let's say that you are someone who was brought up like me to believe that you're supposed to clear every plate of food. Food waste is a terrible thing. You're not allowed to waste anything. You're not allowed to leave the table until your plate's clear. I'm sure many of you can relate. Now, that was fine when you were a kid because you were young and running about and probably a lighter weight. Today, not so helpful. So let's say that let's just dial in on dinner time, right? Every day at dinner time, you clear every plate of food, when in reality, you could probably have stopped a few minutes before because you were full and left some food on the plate. Let's say that every dinner time, you are eating an additional, I'm not going to do ranges here. Let's just do specific numbers, right? Why is that not coming up? Oh, I've switched my keyboard off. That's why. So let's say every day at dinner, you are eating 300 calories extra that you don't need to eat because you're full and you should really have stopped eating. Let's multiply that by 7 days a week. Now let's multiply that by 52 weeks a year. I know this is a bit ridiculous because it's not going to be like this, but just for the sake of getting an example across, right? So across a year, that could be adding, let's round that up to 110,000 calories. So every dinner time, you clear every plate because that's what you were brought up to do. No matter how much is there, how full you are, you finish that plate because that's one of your habits. This could be adding 110,000 calories per year to your diet. If we divide that by 3,500, which is the equivalent, roughly the equivalent of a pound of body fat, that's 31.4 pounds. Let's just call it 30 pounds. That one single habit that you have of clearing every plate could be responsible for that 30 pounds that you're carrying. That's it. So it doesn't matter how many diets you go on, how many calories you track, how many times you go to Slimming World or Weight Watchers, or how many points and sins and all that shit that you do. This one behavior that you have that is responsible for 30 pounds of the weight that you currently have on your body, if you don't change that, that 30 pounds will never go anywhere. And if it does, it won't go anywhere for any length of time. However, if you change that one thing about yourself and you stopped clearing every plate, you started eating more mindfully, you started listening to your body, and instead of eating that 300 calories every night, you left it and you scraped it into the bin. And it wouldn't even happen like that, because what happens is, and I see this a lot, where I encourage people to eat more mindfully. I discourage them. There'll be someone who watches TV when they're eating their dinner, and we'll say, right, let's try and not do that anymore, and let's focus on actually connecting with what you're eating. So they'll stop watching TV, they'll stop scrolling their phone, they'll start paying attention to what they eat, and they'll discover, well, do you know what? I can actually fill up on 3/4 of what I've got on my plate. And initially, that becomes food waste that goes in the bin. But within a week or two, they kind of say, well, do you know what? I know that that's too much now, so I'm going to put less food on my plate. So it's not actually, it's not going to be a year of wasting food. It's going to be a couple of weeks of wasting food, then realizing that you don't need as much as you've been putting out, and then your portion sizes change. So let's say that all you did was stop clearing every plate and stopped eating when you started to feel full. In 1 year's time, you would be 30 pounds lighter, because all of the body weight that you are carrying, all of the fat you are carrying, can be attributed, every portion of fat that you're carrying can be attributed to something, to a habit, to a behavior, to a thought, to whatever. Let's say that you have a bottle of wine every Saturday night. 600 calories for a bottle of wine shouldn't really be an issue. But it's not just the bottle of wine, is it? It's the crisps when they come out. It's the nuts when they come out. It's the takeaway that you call when you're under the influence, because no way are you going to cook now that you're pissed. So that 600 calorie bottle of wine might turn into 2,500 calories. Now, this is going to be a big one, but your bottle of wine on a Saturday night, once a week, 2,500 calories per week, multiplied by 52, 130,000 calories. Divided by 3,500, your Saturday night bottle of wine could be responsible for 37 pounds of the weight that you're carrying. If it stopped at the bottle of wine, 600 by 52 divided by 3,500, a bottle of wine on a Saturday night might only be responsible for 9 pounds of your weight. And if you're quite happy for your weight to be 9 pounds, to carry 9 pounds of weight in exchange for having a bottle of wine every Saturday night, that's not a bad trade-off, I don't think. But like I said, very rarely does it stop at the bottle of wine. It's usually the crisps or the nuts or the chocolate or the cheese and crackers, then the takeaway. And then if you drink enough to be hungover the next day, then how do you cope with a hangover the next day? Your alcohol when I stopped drinking alcohol 2 years ago, I lost 20 pounds straight away, like from the start of September through to like March the following year. My weight plummeted unintentionally, with zero effort or intention on my side. And I did not drink a lot. It was, when I did drink, it was snacking, it was takeaways. And I didn't have 20 pounds to look at the time. I looked ill for a little while after I stopped drinking, to be honest. So yeah, everything that you do, and I gave loads of other examples. Let's say every time you have a cup of tea, you have 2 chocolate digestives. I can't remember what they are. They're like 86 calories or something. Every time you have a cup of tea, you have 2 chocolate digestives at 90 calories. But you do that 3 times a day. So 180 calories 3 times a day, times 7 days a week. times 52. I mean, you're not going to do it every single day, every single week for a year. But if we project that across a year, 196,000 calories. Divide that by 3,500. 6 biscuits a day could be responsible for 56 pounds of your weight. Now, these are obviously pretty ridiculous examples, although there will be people who are 18, 19, 20 stone, who do eat 6 biscuits a day, who do drink the bottle of wine at the weekend, who do have 30, 40, and 50 pounds of weight to lose. Like, this will be relevant to you. But it's just some kind of more extreme examples to show how every single thing that we do, it's not just the takeaways, it's not just the wine, it's not just the biscuits, it's not just anything. Everything, every single thing we do adds weight to our body to some degree. And this is why dieting doesn't work, because dieting doesn't change that you're someone who clears every plate of food. Dieting doesn't change the person that you turn into after a bottle of wine. Dieting doesn't change how many biscuits you have with a cup of tea. I mean, I don't know if I've told this story at some point, but not everybody's listened to every episode. Like, I worked with a wonderful woman who was an absolute superstar. She was incredible at tracking. She loved the whole process, and she was losing half the weight she was supposed to lose. She was losing half a pound a week, despite everything she showed me pointing towards her. She should have been losing a pound a week, right? And it pissed me off. Like, I could not get to the bottom of it. I knew she was telling me the truth. I trusted that she was telling me the truth. So we went back and forth for a while. And I eventually got to the point where I said, like, what about hot drinks? You know, we spoke about oils and cooking and sugar and mayonnaise and like sauces, all the sneaky things that I could think of. And then I said, what about hot drinks? And she went, oh, I drink tea. I don't track my tea. Because she had read somewhere throughout the years that tea counted towards your hydration. So in her mind, tea counts towards hydration. So tea's like water. Water's, you don't track water. It's got no calories in it. But when she said tea, I'm like, you know, I was looking for a 250 to 300 calorie error, right? I was trying to find the missing half pound of fat every week. So I needed a big error. And she said, well, I don't track my tea. And straight away I was like, nah, that's not going to be it. Even if she drinks milk and 25, 30 calories a cup, that's not, it might find part of it. So I went back and said, okay, how many cups of tea do you drink and how do you take it? Well, I take it with milk and 2, but I have about 10 cups a day. And straight away, we found the missing half pound of fat. We found the missing 25 to 30 calories. 250 to 300 calories. So as soon as she, once I said, well, look, your 10 cups of tea a day, that's 250 to 300 calories per day. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for a massive mistake like this. That's why I was looking at things like cheese and oils and mayonnaise, things that are high calorie that you don't need a lot to use a lot of calories. And as soon as she realized, let's project it, right? Let's say you have 10 cups of tea a day with milk and 2 at, let's just say it's 25 calories a cup. So that's 250 calories a day times 7 times 52, 91,000 calories divided by 3,500. 10 cups of tea per day could be responsible for almost 2 stone of your weight. So as soon as, I didn't explain it to her like this because this is a new thing that a new way I've been explaining these things. But as soon as I pointed out to her that, yes, your tea is having an impact, you're having about 250, 300 calories a day between the milk and the 2 teaspoons of sugar times 10, the 20 teaspoons of sugar. She was shocked because in her mind, like, oh, I thought tea was hydrating. Like, it is hydrating, but it also contains calories. Take away the tea thing, and you're essentially having 20 teaspoons of sugar and, whatever, 200 mils of milk, 200 mils of milk. That contains calories. So she immediately changed her tea habits. And guess what happened? her weight started coming down by that extra £0.5 a week. I think she went down to like 1 or 2 cups a day, and she saved it for like, she had one in the morning, one in the afternoon when she would really savor them the most. And that then helped her go on to lose an extra £0.5 a week every week. But like I said, that could have been responsible for 28 pounds of her weight. And well, 28 pounds of her weight, 10 cups a day, she reduced that by 80%. So 28 minus 80%. By change, oh, for fuck's sake. What did I say? 28 minus 80%. Yeah, by changing that one habit, that would have helped her lose 23 pounds. It's kind of crazy when you look at it like this, isn't it? So every single thing that you eat, drink, do, and think that involves you putting calories into your body, every one of those things, you can attribute a portion of the body fat that you're carrying to it. And this only really works, it only really works for people who are overweight, right? If you're of a healthy weight, it's not something you need to worry about. It's still contributing something. It's just not having a negative impact. But I can't imagine there's many people listening to this that are happy and comfortable and at a healthy weight, right? Most of you listening to this are going to be overweight to some degree. And this is a really valuable thing to think about. So the lesson to take from this is that, yes, you can follow all the instructions in the world. You can try all the diets in the world. You can follow all the plans that you want. But if it's only a temporary change, so for like, this is why people totally mess things up by removing things. So for example, like the bottle of wine was a mega one. I will work with so many people who will come to me with that bottle of wine habit, with those takeaway habits, with those nuts and crisps and whatever else habits, but I won't work on them because they'll come to work with me and they'll say, oh, I did drink alcohol, but I've decided not to for the time that I'm here. And I'll go like, okay, I don't know anything about their alcohol habits because it doesn't come up. But that, they might have stopped doing that 2,500 calorie a week thing, which, yes, helps them lose a phenomenal amount of weight during the time that we work together. But what they don't learn is how to include wine in their diet. So when you remove something, you don't address it. You don't change it. You don't work on it. You don't fix it. It just becomes a non-issue for a while. So you remove this 2,500 calorie per week habit. You then start following a plan. Your weight goes flying down. You get to your goal. You wave goodbye and say thanks very much. And then you go, it's wine time again. And the wine comes back in, and the nuts, and the crisps, and the takeaways, and that 2,500 calorie habit that was adding 50 pounds or responsible for 50 pounds of your body weight comes back again. And what happens when it comes back? Your weight starts to go up. So I hope this really helps hammer home that point that you do not have a weight problem. You have numerous other little things going on that you can attribute a portion of your weight to each of them. And then it's like, people always think about getting to ideal weights, right? Your ideal weight will be the weight that matches the way that you want to live your life. Now, if you are carrying a lot of body fat and you're very unhappy with your weight, then you should want to change your life because you can't have it all. You can't eat and drink to excess and somehow make that lead to you being 2 or 3 stone lighter. Something has to give, right? What do you want to keep up? What do you want to let go of? And sometimes, like, I'll give you an example, right? I'm in a deficit at the moment just for shits and gigs. I want to see how lean I can get. I go through these little phases. So I've lost about 10 pounds over the last 4 weeks. I'm going to see how much farther I can go. 162, I think, is the lightest I've ever been, and I'm 168 right now. So I'll do this for a few more weeks and see what happens. But the thing is, when I get very lean, I get a 6-pack. It's the only time I see it. But the thing is, I can't stay there. And I can't get any lighter because once I get to like 162, 163, that's when I would have to start making some big decisions like, okay, well, you're going to have to give something up. Like if it actually mattered to you so much for you to have a visible 6-pack all year round, you're going to have to make a fundamental change in your life. Like, you're going to have to give something up. You're going to have to do something very differently. And 162 is like my trade-off point. When I get to 162, it's like I can't go any farther without making a change to something that I don't really want to change. So it's like 162 is like it's like my lowest possible deficit weight. Like, your weight's always going to be 5 to 10 pounds heavier at maintenance. But what, like, I would drop to 162, then I'd probably come back up to like 168, 169, 170, something like that. I was 177 a few weeks ago. So yeah, the point is, it might sound great getting to 8 stone, 9 stone, 10 stone on paper, but once you get closer to it and you realize just how many more things you're going to have to give up, like, yes, you might want to be able to do that, but it might mean that you can never eat takeaways. Or you might want to do that, but it might mean you can never drink alcohol, because if alcohol remains a part of your life, those calories are going to be enough to keep your weight at this level. So it's not just as simple as I want to be 9 stone and then doing things to get to 9 stone. It's like, how much of my life am I, because the life that you have at the moment is leading you to be the weight that you currently are. And like I said, each of your habits, your behaviors, the things, everything that you do is adding some measure of weight to your body. So for you to become lighter, you have to be willing to let go of some of that. Or if you're not willing to let go of any of it, then you stay the same and you stay the same weight. Like, something has to give. But it's very unlikely that people would be willing to give up everything. Like, yes, you could reach 9 stone and stay there, but you would maybe have to sacrifice your social life. So what's more important to you? Being 9 stone every day, you wake up and looking at your body and going, great, look at me, I'm 9 stone. Or actually spending time with your friends, going out for meals, going out for drinks. There's a trade-off, right? So there is no ideal weight or perfect weight. Goal weights and target weights are a bit... they're fine to have, but you have to be realistic about them and realize that you're probably not going to reach them exactly unless they're super realistic. But yeah, I've had many occasions where people have wanted to get to like 9 stone, and we've got to 9.5, just as an example, and they can't get any farther. And it's, and then we'll have the discussion. I'm like, well, for you to go farther, you're going to have to change something. So take a look at your life. What are you willing to give up? Are you willing to sacrifice your Friday night takeaway you have with your family? Are you willing to sacrifice your Saturday night bottle of wine? Are you ready to stop having a social life? Like, the next half stone is going to be dependent on you making a change to something. It's not just, well, I need to follow more instructions to lose that half stone. It's pointless losing it if you're not going to stay there. So is there another change you can make to your life? Is there another habit you can change? Is there something you're willing to make an adjustment to? Or are you quite happy with all the changes that you've made so far? In which case, 9.5 stone is as far as you can go. This is your happy weight. This is your healthy weight. Sure, you could change something, but it might fuck up the balance and you might be unhappy. Yes, you'd be 9 stone, but you could be miserable at 9 stone. Anyway, fuck, I'm out of breath after that. Right, enough from me. Every single habit, every behavior, every thought, everything you eat, drink, do, and think that's related to your weight is responsible for a portion of your weight. And as you work through each of those things and identify them and address them, only if there's something you want to address, that's how you lose weight for life. Not following plans, not following programs. That's why when I'm working with people inside the Monroe Method, this is the process we go through. It's like, here are the reasons that your weight is where it is. Here are the things we're going to work on. And a happy bonus side effect of that is that your weight's going to come down. Not only is it going to come down, but because you're changing as a person, it's going to stay there. Right, enough from me. Until next time.